This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good morning. This is Surya. We will start our Azure BI training. And what about this SQL? Are you comfortable? Whatever we have completed SQL training. Venu, Narendra.
Comfortable in SQL.
Comfortable? Okay, fine. Now we will start our actual course Azure BI. In the Azure BI, first we will see the content what I am going to discuss in training. Actually, I will go with Azure storages. We have different types of storage in Azure, mainly blob storage and data lake Gen 1 and Gen 2. These are the main storages in the Azure. These are mostly it will take any type of data, structured, unstructured, anything we may file. And other storages are there, but we don't call those are storages. We call those are like a databases or data warehouse. Okay. In the database, we will look into Azure SQL DB, and in the data warehouse, we will look into Azure SQL data warehouse. This is the earlier name, but now they called renamed as a Azure Synopsys Analytics. Okay, then we will go through our ETL tool. This is very important. This is our main course, ADF, Azure Data Factory. Along with these three, I will go with some transformation tools available in Azure, like data lake analytics and Databricks. Okay, these are the topics we will going to discuss in our training. Okay, I will save, I think better every time if I save, then I will share this with all you.
Azure Blob Storage also can store unstructured data like videos, image.
Anything Azure data lake store also save videos, but not a preferable way. I will explain you. Once I explain, you can get to which data we need to store where. You can able to store image in Azure data lake also, but the cost will be more. I will give all these scenarios, which data is we need to save which place. When I am going through the storages, I will explain you. Okay, now?
Okay.
Okay, fine. Actually, first I will give the brief introduction about the BI. Okay. Before learning any technology, we need to get the background of the technology. So, for example, we are going to learn Azure BI. If I train on the ADF, just you know the tool only. But if you know the what is the technology, what is the base we required, if you know, then we can easily switch it to another area, another ETL tools also. So for example, first we need to see the basic concepts. What is data warehouse? What is data? And what is BI applications? Why we require BI applications? If you know all this background, then if you learn technology, then that is a good. Without background and without any basic concepts, if you learn ADF or if you learn Synopsys, if you learn Databricks, no use. Okay, that is the reason today just I will give the overview on the BI. What do you mean by BI? which tools we are going to use BI, in which place we need to use which tool. All this I will tell you. Okay. First of all, what do you mean by BI? I think everybody know this is business intelligence applications. Business intelligence, business intelligence application. First of all, my question is why client needs BI applications. So, for example, if you take any client, they have their. So, for example, if you see any client, so for example, BMW or any client. So, for example, if you take BMW, why BMW required BI applications? They have their transaction systems. For example, in the BMW, they have showrooms throughout the globe. So, for example, sales offices throughout the globe. They have in every sales showroom, they have some system like maybe whether it is a whatever front end application, maybe .NET application or Java or whatever it may be. What they can do whenever you are going to any showroom, if you want to try to purchase any car or any spare part, they enter the details and they will give the bill. That's fine, but that information will be saved in the that particular server only. So for example, if I am so for example if I'm a manager of the, so for example if you take BMW, we have 3 showrooms in Hyderabad. For example, store manager, 1 minute, Hyderabad. So for example if you take store manager 1, he can only see his data only. Store manager 2 can see related to showroom 2 only. Likewise, manager 3 will see the data about his. Otherwise, for example, no one can able to give access to other showroom data. But coming to the high level people like CEO or CFO or any sales managers or DMs, whatever hierarchy, every year, every quarter, every month, they have some meetings. Okay. So for example, if you take CEO, every year they have some budget meeting or whatever it may be. They also, for example, they will predict the next year how we are going with the business. For example, okay, CEO don't have any data. He told that he put up a meeting and he told that this year we will spend, so for example, 1 lakh dollars to improve our business. Is it meaningful? No. Why? Because you don't know anything. Blindly, if you give the decision, how it will work? No. So that is the reason what he can do is he will see the data first, and then based on the data, he will or his team will predict the future sales or future budget, whatever it may be. So if a CEO or other people are any hierarchy, if they want to take proper decision in their area, they need data. First of all, they need data. How they are getting the data? So for example, CEO don't bother about the, so for example, particular store one, you don't bother about the how what is the business going on the store one. He bothered about the company level. For example, in one store it is going good or not, for him it's not a big issue, but company wise he will see the data. Suppose for example, okay, he wants all the data. How we can get it? So for example, he need to extract the data. First of all, how we can provide the data to him is we need to extract the data from different sources, different offices, maybe sales offices, whatever in case sales offices, we will put it into some centralized location. Then he can able to see, okay, how we are extracting the data from the different sources. So, for example, in the store one, they are using, you can assume their store one, they are using SQL server. They are using the backend of the SQL server. In the store two, they are using the SAP front on system, backend is the SAP BW or SAP whatever data. And in the third showroom, they are using Oracle. Maybe in the showroom one they are maintaining a employee information is different way. In the showrooms too they are maintaining the employee too. Why? Because maybe that is their own store or it is a third party store. If it is third party, they don't bear whatever software provided by the BMW, they will use their own. That is specific. But a CEO point of view, how many sales are done for that one? If he needs that information, we need to extract from his system and he needs to put into the other system. So that is the reason data warehouse is coming to picture. Data warehouse nothing but it is a collection of data. It is a centralized repository to provide solution for any data related issues. So for example, here we are only seeing about the sales part only. In the BMW, different divisions are there. So for example, in the BMW production is there. CEO only if you see for look for sales, okay, sales are going on, but production cost is more, you didn't get profits. So we need to extract the production data also. Like that one, like that we need to see the expenditures, all this stuff. Whatever data related to BMW, whether it is his own data or third party data, they needed some centralized place. Then only higher people or managing people, they will take the decision properly. So that is the reason every company or every I can say every vendor, they will try to make business intelligence applications on top of whatever data they have. So that is the reason they are preparing data warehouse. As I said, it is a collection of data. In this data warehouse, they are maintaining his data and his so here business will be different way, B2B or B2C. I think you guys, B2B means business to business, their data only. B2C, business to customer, they will take the customer data also. Otherwise they don't know what happened in that side. So what they can do generally, they will collect all the data, they transform the data. For example, in the store one, they are maintaining a different way. In the store two, they are different, maintaining a different way. But whenever we are putting to the data, whereas we need to transform the all the system data in a proper format or in a single format, and we need to save into the data warehouse. And here data warehouse, okay, I have 1 year data. You can assume I have 1 year data. Will I take proper decision? Yes, maybe there is a chance. But if we have more data like 2 years or 3 years, 4 years data, he will get the clear picture. So for example, last year, due to some pandemic, sales are not happening good. But due to only this 1 year data, he will predict and maybe there is no sales in this year. Maybe he will not spend much. Maybe competitors will spend much. They will get the business. So they don't only rely on the single or only some portion of the data. Based on the business wise or business area, they will look for 2 or 3 or 4 years data. Mostly, many of the databases they will maintain at least up to 5 years data, up to 5 or up to 3 years data, up to 5 or up to 3 years. If they have this data, then they will predict the data very well. They will, so for example, based on the previous sales, not only prediction. So for example, where they have lacked in the business. So for example, if you take an example, they have invested last year $100 in the India region, but they are not doing business as they expected. How they can know where is the problem? If they have the data, okay, we have established a showroom at the not the correct place. Due to that one, we are not getting profit or logistics issues, whatever it may be. Based on the data, if they have that data, then they can able to predict and they will correct whatever problem happened in the last year in this year. So example, if you take example, they establish a showroom at the some very urban place. They are not doing business not well. What they can do, so for example, BMW, if they don't start the showroom at the Hyderabad, they will start the showroom at the some place like Vijayawada. Will it work? No. The people and they, before start the showroom also, they need to see the all the possibilities where the people and well they can able to take or whatever it may. So for example, if you take Maruti, if they establish a showroom at Vijayawada and Vijayawada or Hyderabad, they don't have any difference. Why? Because their range is there in the common economy range. So BMW, if you come to this one, this is a higher range. So for example, if Vijayawada, if who are in the Vijayawada, they want to purchase a BMW, he can come to Hyderabad and he will get it. Got my point? So whatever decision if they want to take, they need data. That is the reason every company on top of their transactional system, they are preparing data warehouse. Clearer what is data warehouse? And coming to data warehouse, it has four characteristics. First one is subject oriented. Next one is non-volatile. Time variant. And integrated. This is the bookish definition coming from the Kimball. What do you mean by data warehouse? Data warehouse is nothing but a collection of historical data and present data. It has four characteristics. One is subject oriented. It will tell the particular subject. So for example, you can store the data in a different line of the business, like for example, sales data, purchase data, whatever it may be, they will tell particular subject. It will answer for the each and every department. Second one is non-volatile. Non-volatile means it won't change very frequently. Suppose you are loading data on a daily base. Once the data is loaded until tomorrow, that time the data won't change. But in the transactions, so for example, if you take transactions, it will vary seconds or minutes. Why? Because we are doing transactions. So for example, if you go to showroom, if you have some query, they will enter the data. The data will be changed. For example, if you went to a showroom, so for example, you are asking some spare part. If it is that there, what he can tell, yes, we will look into the system. He will tell only single part is available. So you thought of I will purchase after some time. So for example, in meantime, someone come to the showroom and he purchased that one. If you go again, he will search it, no stock. It will be very frequently in the transaction, but in the data warehouse, that is not the case. Data warehouse, we have some specific time. We will refresh the data on a specific time. Mainly, we will go with a based on the data frequency. We will load either daily or weekly or monthly. They don't bother about the single point of sales in the data warehouse. They don't bother about the single point of sales. They need the constant information. So that is the reason it won't change very frequently. Coming to time variant, it will save particular time of the data. Maybe it will save 4 years of data or 1 year of data, like that way. And one is integrated means it will integrate all kinds of the data. For example, if you take one organization, they will integrate whatever it is. So for example, HR data, sales data, and production data, whatever they will integrate. These are the four properties about the data warehouse. Clear? Huh? What is data warehouse? Venu, clear?
Oh, clear, sir.
Okay, fine, good. Next, going to we will see first two types of systems. One is we need to identify the differences between OLTP and OLAP. These are very, very important if you are working on the BM. What do you mean by OLTP? What do you mean by OLTP? OLTP means online transaction processing systems. OLAP means, I will define here, online transaction processing system. OLAP means online analytics processing system. Analytics processing. Okay. What do you OLTP generally? If you take OLTP, these are the transaction systems. If I give an example, wherever BMW is having showrooms, they have doing some business. That is nothing but online transaction. Here they are focusing on the insert, update, and delete. Here they don't bother about the reporting. Just only reporting they have whether stock is there or not. Only few. And one more is here they are not maintaining the in the showroom. They don't maintaining the history of the data. They will maintain some specific period only. That is the reason if you take any product from anything, they have some specific time to return policy. So for example, after that one they don't return that product. Why? Because in the OLTP, if they want to maintain huge amounts of data, they need to maintain huge amount of system, but that is no meaning. For example, in the showroom, 4 years back, whether I purchased this product or not, no, don't require. But in the data warehouse, they required. But in the transactions, they don't require. Why? Because if they want to maintain complete data in the each and every showroom, they need to configure very high missions in the each and every showroom. That is the reason what they can do. They will maintain limited data in the transaction systems, and they will maintain complete data in the data warehouses. Otherwise, they need to invest more on the hardware and software in each and every showroom. That is the reason they don't maintain huge amounts of data in the transaction system. And even in the transaction systems, if you have the more data, it will take more time to process the data. Means insert. So for example, he inserted something and he will give the bill. So for example, will you wait for 10 minutes? No customer will wait. Why? Because immediately they need to give the bill. How they can give? If they have, so for example, 10 GB of the data, if they want to insert one record, it will take 2 seconds. Maybe if you have 100 GB of data, if you insert one record, it will take maybe 4 or 5 minutes. So that is the reason they don't maintain huge amounts in the transaction systems. Transaction system nothing but OLTP. Here they are maintaining only some limited amount of data, and here they are focusing on the DML operations. If you know, DML means here the main important is insert, update, delete. Mainly, for in the showroom, will they give any report for you? No. Mostly they will insert the data, update the data, and delete the data, and they will give bill for you. In the online processing systems, here they are not focusing on the DML. They don't do any deletion, they don't do any updates. Just they will extract the data, they will append the data, or they will correct the data at one time only. So here their focus in the select statements. Mostly this system is only used for reporting only. Once data load is completed, here no one will do any insert or update. You have to clearly know the OLTP, OLAP. Here, that is the reason they have different modeling techniques are there. So for example, if you have a OLTP system, we are going with the entity relationship model. Entity relationship model. Here, we are trying to make data in the more normalized form. So for example, if you take customer and department, in the customer, if you take employee, I will an example, and a department. For example, I have the in the employee table, I have data like 100, employee name is XX, department is HR, 101, YYY, and sales. So for example, if thousands employees are there, HR, I have only two departments, HR and sales. I need to repeat HR, sales and 1,000 times. So instead of that, what they can do, they will prepare department table like department ID comma name, like suppose example 1 comma HR, 2 comma sales. And in the employee table, what they can do in the employee table, they can make entries like 100 comma XX comma 1, 101 comma YY comma 2 instead of maintaining it. Here what they can do, they will normalize the data, they will put the relations between the tables, and they will make here insert operation will be performed very well if the data is very, why? Because we don't spend much hard disk in this area. So that is the reason in OLTP systems we are using the entity relationship model. Entity relationship means we are making the entities and we are making the relation between the entities. Here in the example, what are our entities? Employee is one entity, department is one entity. Clear? How we can relate that? Just using, I think if you come from SQL background, we are using the foreign key relationship. And here we are emphasizing the data in the constraints. If you know constraints, for example, one customer is entered, I don't want to duplicate the data. So what I can do in the customer table, I will put the primary key on the customer ID. If you put some restrictions or any constraints, we are using the OLTP system. In the OLAP, we don't put any constraints. If you put constraints, it will take some time. In the OLAP, we are making the data using the other approach called data modeling. In the data modeling here, we are maintaining the star schema and the snowflake schema. In the OLTP, we are using the here data modeling, or mostly we can call it as dimensional modeling. In the OLTP, what is the method we are using while preparing any OLTP systems like transaction systems? We are using entity relationship. Entity nothing but a table. Relationship, we are making relationship. And in the OLAP world, any OLAP is used by the most of the data warehouses. If you want to prepare data warehouse, we are going with the OLAP methodology. If you are going to prepare a transactional database, we are going with the entity relationship. Okay, clear? Then coming to dimensional modeling, here also we are maintaining tables only, but we don't call here a table. Here we are called dimension tables. We are called as a dimension and facts. In the OLTP, we don't call dimension fact. We are just calling tables only. But here we are calling in the dimensional modeling, we are calling the tables like a dimension facts. I will explain you what do you mean by dimension, what do you mean by fact. While I am going to explain in the ETL, I will explain this model. So far up to clear, why we require data warehouse? What is the difference between OLTP and OLAP? I hope you are clear as.
Yes, Surya.
Hello? Okay, fine, good. Then I will go with the another topic like, okay, data warehouse. Earlier we are using in-house or on-premises. Now there is a buzzword called everybody know cloud. First we will see the differences and why we are going with a cloud. Why can't I prepare data warehouse in the on-premises? Okay, and I will explain. So for example, in the on-premises, so for example, I want to prepare my data warehouse, and based on the current data size, I prepare like a 10 GB data warehouse in my SQL server. Okay, due to some reason I didn't use 10 GB, my data will be 1 GB only, but I need to maintain all system. Why? Because I don't immediately remove the hard disk. Why? Because I set up the environment, So I need to I have invested the amount. So I need to can't able to do anything. I need to maintain only. So coming to cloud, they are providing like a switch way. So for example, whatever, so for example, today you need 10 GB, tomorrow if you don't need 10 GB, then immediately you can switch to whatever GB you want. They are giving the flexibility. Right now, data is getting very huge. Our on-premises systems can't able to manage. Why? Because of example, if you see social media. So for example, you can see, so for example, if you went to any supermarket, after you came to your house, you will get a message. How is that supermarket? What is your experience? How they are capturing the data? They are using Android. I think wherever you are mapping Google Maps, Google will take the data. They will ask that questions. So if they want to maintain this kind of data, they need huge amount of space. That is the reason. More or less, this data not in the specific format. Maybe it is a one format, but it is not a more column and row format, not a column and row format. So they want to say whatever data they are getting, they are first to try to save that data. So that is the reason they need huge amounts of space, and that is the reason this cloud vendors coming to the picture. They told that we will save whatever data you want. It's like if you take the popular cloud vendors are AWS, Microsoft. In the Microsoft world, we have Azure and we have Google and so third party also. These three are the popular ones. They are giving the space for very less amount. That is the reason everyone. So, for example, why can't I save the data? Okay, maybe I can save and I will store it somewhere. Whenever I want, I will use it. That is the reason cloud is coming to the picture, and they are providing the space, and for the clients they have option to save whatever data they want. Earlier, so for example, they want to save some data, due to some constraints they can't able to save. So for example, if they want to save data only temporary purpose, so for example, if you take BMW, they want to establish some new showroom in the, so for example, some India. Suppose they have some idea, they want to establish a showroom near Vijayawada. They need information for the last 1 year, the customer informations. So for example, customers went to which showroom, whether they are looking for any showroom, they need that information for only particular 1 or 2 months only. After once they establish it, they don't require that information. They have their own information. Before that one, they need customer feedback. So for example, last 1 year, so the customers went to which showroom and they are looking for which car. I think that is a third party. They will provide, they will get that information. Before any company, they will look for their competitors. They will take the customer feedback. They need some time for this memory, so some environment. They need to do analysis on this system. If you take example BMW, they want some customer feedback for the last 1 year in the Vijayawada region. They want customer feedback. After once they establish the showroom, they finalize the decision, they establish them, they don't require that information. For example, up to that 1 year, they need. So, for example, customer feedback, maybe it is a GBs or TBs data. So, for that reason, if they want to purchase some hardware, after that one, they don't use. So, that is the reason cloud will give the flexibility. Whenever you want, you can utilize. Later, you can release. So that is the reason nowadays, now I think last 5 years or 6 years, cloud is in the they are providing. That is the reason everyone try to switch it to cloud instead of on-premises. And one more is maintenance. So for example, not so he can able to purchase the software, he can able to bear, but he need to install the software, you need to maintain the software, you need to look the IT team, you need to look the security team, all this. But in the cloud they will assure 100% security, 100% availability. Even 1 second we don't have any fault tolerance. So that is the reason clients switching into the cloud. Clear? Huh? So that is the reason all these cloud technologies are going on. All that is the reason everywhere AWS is selling their products in the cloud, and like the Microsoft also coming into the picture. That is the reason now either you can go with AWS, or I think right now Google also trying to build their business, but right now the trendings are Azure and AWS. So if you want to grab this opportunity, we need to go with either AWS or Azure. I can give the examples. For example, somebody working on the BIs, like applications like SSIS, and so for example SSIS, so coming to IBM, he is working on the data stage. Only the scope for this BI developers are maintenance applications only. There in the current trend, no one is preparing applications on basis of SSIS, data stage, or Informatica. Informatica also coming with the cloud. They are also, we need to switch to on-premises to cloud. Then only we can sustain. Clear? Huh? Why BI? Why we need to switch to cloud technologies? Why clients are using cloud? Okay, fine. That's it for the brief overview of the data warehouse and OLTP and OLAP. Why we require business intelligence applications. Okay, fine. Are you clear? Venu, Narendra.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Fine.
Okay, fine, good. So, due to this all brief history, we are going to learn these technologies. These are used to prepare the cloud data warehouses. So, we have used these technologies. Clear? And I will give the another flow like how application will build on the BI. In the BI generally we have source. After that one we need to transform the data, and we prepare the reports. Transform and put it into the data warehouse, and then we can prepare the reports. So that is the reason here different roles are there. So for example, if we extract the data from source and transform the data, we are using the ETL tools. If we want to save the data, we are using the data warehouse or any storage. Data warehouse or any storage. So for example, if we want the reports, we are using the reports. That is the reason here ETL likes lot of tools are there. In coming to Azure, we are using the ADF, or you can use Informatica or Talent. Lot of tools are there. But if we have the basic knowledge on the ETL, if we have a good knowledge on the ADF, you can easily switch to Talent. That is the reason I'm telling you, don't only focus on the EDF technical. You can focus on the ETL. What do you mean by ETL and why we need ETL? If you have the basic, then you can work on any tool. And coming to data warehouses also, we have a lot of data warehouses. Still we have on-premises data warehouses, but I don't go into on-premises. But in the cloud, the most popular things are coming to Redshift. It is coming from the IBM. Sorry, not IBM, AWS. And coming to our Azure, this is right now they are renamed as a Azure Synopsys. Earlier it is a Azure SQL data warehouse. Now, like that way, we have Snowflake is there. This is also trending data warehouse. Like that, so many data warehouse. So in the Google also, we have the data warehouse like BigQuery. Coming to storages, not only databases, in the storages, I think you guys heard S3 buckets. Coming to Microsoft, they are providing blob storage or data lake. In the Google also, Google Cloud is there. Don't remember that what is the exact name. Google also they are providing cloud. Coming to reports, now trending is Power BI and Tableau, some Jasper, SSRS, like that were too many Cognos, too many tools are there. So if you want to work on BI applications, our area is we need to extract the data from the sources, transform the data, and put it into the some storage like data warehouse, and preparing the reports on top of the that data warehouse. So here lot of roles are there. So for example, someone extract the data, we can call ETL developers. Someone implement the data warehouse, we can call data architect. Someone worked on the reports, we can call report users. Generally, that is the reason every project they are looking for people, they have a specialized one skill. Suppose in our case, if you are good in ADF, that is not enough right now. You need to know at least data warehouse concepts. You need to know the reporting. Either that multiple combination, otherwise we can't able to survive in the industry. So that is the reason in our course we designed such a way like that we will go with the complete set of this suit. I will go through one by one, and if you are interested, you can learn Power BI also. But in this course, we don't cover Power BI. We will take up to these three only. Clear? Venu, Narendra.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Clear, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I think I will go to the our part. Okay. Now I will focus on the Azure. I think before going to Azure, I will just give the brief overview of the big data. Anyone, what do you mean by big data?
Big data means which is large in size and unstructured data.
Yeah, good. Okay, fine. I will give. Suppose the general impression in the outside is big data means it is a huge amount of data. That is not correct. Big data means the data which are available for me, I can't able to process. That is a big data for me. So, for example, if you take example our personal laptop, we have 500 GB and 8 GB RAM. If I try to save 600 GB, can I able to save? No. That is a big data for me. For example, if you take BMW, 500 GB is a big? No. So big data nothing but it is a data we can't able to maintain or we can't able to process. That is nothing but a big data. That is the whether it is a structure, unstructured, all these kinds of varieties. So that is the reason if you see now most popular databases are NoSQL databases. Up to 2015, we know only SQL databases, that too relational. We can't able to maintain the data without rows and columns. Now we can able to maintain the data without rows and columns also. Whenever big data comes into the picture, companies trying to provide the flexibility for the customers. They are going with a different technology that is nothing but a NoSQL. Most of the databases they have used NoSQL. Earlier in they only SQL, lot of limitations are there. We need to save the data in the particular format only. For example, if it is a JSON format, earlier we can't able to do. Now we can able to do. XML, whatever format now with data is getting, we can able to save using new technologies using NoSQL. For example, if it is a front-end tool, back-end they will use this some SQL scripting. Clear? What do you mean by big data? Big data nothing but it is a data, mostly it is in huge only, but whatever we can't able to process and we can't able to store, that is a big data for that particular system. Same like clients also. For example, client has a, so for example, 10 megabytes of data for us. If he wants to try to save 11 megabytes, that is a big data for him. And one more is not only storage, process also. So for example, every day I'm trying to process 30 GB. I have only 5 GB of RAM. It will take 5 days. That is a big problem for a client. So that is the reason what he can choose. He will choose a different methodology. Now every vendor come up with a data warehouse is a concept of massive parallel processing. This is the reason clients are choosing cloud instead of on-premises. What do you mean by massive parallel processing? I think you guys heard about Hadoop. What do you mean by Hadoop? What is the main concept of Hadoop? Anybody?
Hadoop is
Actually, hmm. Yes, please, no problem. Just explain.
Hadoop is a system which process the big data.
Yes, good. Actually, okay, that's fine, Narendra. Good. Actually, Hadoop try to process the data parallelly. They are trying to overcome the traditional file system. Some limitations are there. So for example, if your system is 5 cores, it will establish a 5 threads. It will process and it will give the data. But Hadoop, they are trying to split the data. They are not processing as a single file. They are split the data and they will process parallelly in a different machines, and they will combine the data and they will give the result back to the system. Here they have using the parallel processing data, parallel processing data. But how they are going to do is using their Hadoop file system. In the internally, Microsoft also using most of the cases Hadoop file systems, but they are preparing wrapper on top of the Hadoop. They are using Hortonworks, so whatever it may be, third-party tools. Even Databricks also build on the Azure Databricks, nothing but a build on top of a wrapper build on the Databricks. Databricks, what they used? They used the Apache Spark or Apache that is coming from the Hadoop. Hadoop nothing but, for example, if you have a file, generally in our traditional approach, we can process that file with a single core only. But in the Hadoop, what they can do, they will split the data into different small chunks and process in a different servers, and they will combine and they will give the output. That is the reason here parallel processing come into the picture. So for example, if you want to process 1 GB file with a 8 GB RAM, it will take 5 minutes. If you use the 4 missions, if you split the data and process, it will take 1 minute. But they have designed the framework such a way like that it will handle the parallel processing. I think you guys here job tracker and one more is there, task tracker. Job tracker and task tracker something. I also don't remember this exactly. What
Yeah,
they can
task
do.
tracker also.
Oh yeah, thank you. What whenever you are submitting the one query, job tracker role is, this is a, I think we can call it a master node. What it will do is it will maintain the metadata, it will split the data and send the task to the task tracker. Task tracker process the data and send back to the master node. Here I think master node and slave nodes, I think so, or child nodes, whatever it may be,
Yeah,
slave nodes.
master and slave nodes.
What it will do is slave nodes process the data. So for example, 1 GB, they will split it into some chunks and send it to the, so for example, if you using the 8 node system, I think one master node and the remaining seven slave nodes. In the Azure world, we are calling as a different, but in the Hadoop world, we are calling master node. What it will do is it will split the data and send it to the not all 7 nodes based on the data, based on some algorithms. It will send the data based on the data size, and it will send to 3 slave nodes. Maybe if data is used, it will send to 4, and 4 slave nodes parallelly process the data, that portion of the data only, and they will send back the result to the master node. Master node will combine the data and send back to the our result. But here one disadvantage is, so for example, I am using the 8 node, I want to process 1 KB data. Will perform good? No. Why? Because even 1 KB also it will split and it will send to one slave node only, but again it will need to combine. Instead of that one, if you use only single mission, it will perform well. So using Hadoop, you need to make sure what is your data size, how I can use it parallel. For example, I used the 8 node master cluster Hadoop system. I want my data size will be 1 GB. You don't see any performance. If you use only one mission also, that's fine. So based on the size, you need to choose your cluster. Clear? Huh? What do you mean by Hadoop?
Krishna, mute your mic. Krishna.
Okay, fine. Clear? Huh? Hadoop. What do you mean by Hadoop? How data will be processing the Hadoop?
Yes, sir.
Once Hadoop came into the picture, every vendor is trying to grab the technology and they are providing their softwares. This is a open software. That is the reason everyone is using, and even whatever Spark. So, for example, in the cloud data warehouse, I can mention the Redshift. This is also using massive parallel processing, like our Azure data warehouse, like Azure Synopsys, and even Snowflake. All everyone they are grab the massive parallel processing. Massive parallel processing means here we have the concept of cluster. In the cluster, we have different machines are there. It will handle our queries parallelly. For example, if you take ETL, every day we are loading some 20 million records. What we can do is we are loading into the data warehouse. We are using some ETL tool, look ADF or Informatica. What it will do, it will call a data warehouse. Data warehouse will take care of the ETL job, and it will, if it is processed parallel, it will be completed very quick. So that is the reason cloud is going to market and it is doing very hard for us. So that is the reason everywhere. And one more advantage is the cloud data warehouses. We can switch parallelly. We can switch anytime. So for example, if you take an example business scenario, month end we have huge loads. That time what we can do, we will choose the higher configuration. For after month end we don't do that much business, so what we can do, we can switch back down to the older system. So we have a lot of flexibilities are there, but they are charging. But based on the business scenario, whether you can go with a on premises or cloud. Generally today's everyone is trying to put their data into the cloud. Why? Because it is a safe. Everyone ensure 100% safe. They are using lot of encryptions, but still now one sector is not building the cloud. That is the banking sector. Other than banking data or financial data, most of the clients are switching to the cloud. Okay, fine. I think you cleared about all basic whatever we required for the data warehouses. Why data warehouses now moving to the cloud due to this parallel processing, and why these all tools are required. So I will show you one by one from tomorrow onwards. I think you have cleared about the basic background BI. Why BI? What are the technologies we are going to use? Which are the technologies we are going in the market? And as I mentioned, you need to focus on the basics like OLTP systems. You have to know what is the difference between OLTP, OLTP. In the OLTP, we have used the different modeling, that is like a ER diagram, entity relation diagram. In the OLJP, we are going with a dimensional modeling, that is nothing but a star schema or snowflake. I will explain you star, what is the star schema, what is the snowflake when I going through the data warehouse concepts, or what do you mean by dimension, what do you mean by fact. Clear? Everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
That is the, yeah, that is the reason I asked you have to know the basic SQL. I think that is the reason we already covered SQL session, like insert, update, delete, select, whatever favors are in select, group by. If you know the basic SQL, if you change the tool, maybe syntax only change. If you want to work on the data world, you have a very good commanding on the SQL. For example, if you take Power BI, what you need to do? We need to write some self statement or some grouping is there. Maybe they provided some tools internally, it will do, but a front end they will provide something. So for example, if you have the good command on the SQL, very easy for us to work on the any data related tools, whether it is the ETL tool, data warehouse, or reporting tool. Okay, fine. I think is it fine, or can we continue another 15 minutes? If you are okay, then I will go through the ETL and ELT approach. I think okay, we will start ETL and ELT approach. I will share my training content. Okay, fine. Everyone is clear why we need BI application? What is the use of data warehouse on top of transactional systems? Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Now I will explain the ETL. Everybody know ETL. What do you mean by ETL? Extract, transform, and load. What it will do generally, it will plays a key role in the data integration strategies. ETL allows business to gather data from multiple sources and consolidation into a single centralized location. Without ETL, can't able to take data from the different sources. You can, but lot of manual efforts are required. Maybe if you go with a manual, there is a chance of making mistakes. So that is the reason we need to stabilize the process. If you want to extract any data, we have the option is the ETL tool. Tool may be different. Maybe ADF you can use, Talent you can use, but internally they will use the same concept. Just extract the data, transform the data, and load it into the destination. For example, in our case, SQL servers are there, SQL data warehouse are there. What we can do? Earlier we have used SSIS. We will extract the data and put it into the data warehouse. Now market is changing. Now ADF is coming to the picture. Why? Because we need to extract huge amounts of data and put it into the data warehouse using the Hadoop parallel processing. SSI is not capable. Why? Because it is not handling the massive parallel processing systems. That is the reason Microsoft come up with another tool ETL for this specific to the cloud area. Like that, if you take Informatica, we have two tools are there. Still on-premises Informatica is there. Now Informatica come up with the ICCS, Informatica Cloud Services. They upgraded. Otherwise, they can't able to sustain the business. Why? Because clients are moving to the cloud data warehouse. If they're still with the on-premises tool, they will lose the business. That is the reason they come up with a concept like Talent. They are only specific to prepared for the cloud related solutions. Penthouse, a lot of tools are there. We will see that one. You understand us? What do you mean by ETL? Then what are the steps in the ETL? Basically, three steps are involved, as we mentioned. Three steps. What? One is extraction, one is transformation, one is loading. As I mentioned, whenever we are preparing data warehouse, first time we will do the full load. That is the full extraction. Next day onwards, we are going with the delta loads. Delta loads means we are not taking every day. For example, my databases are 20 GB. I don't do every day all data. Whatever data changed in the source systems, I will pick using some date timestamp, whatever it may be, whatever mechanism you use, using some mechanism, we will extract the delta. and whenever we required, we will go with the full load, either monthly or quarterly or yearly. We don't do every day full load. If the system is small, we can do full loads. If the system is huge, we can go with the delta loads. Here you can see, here we have three approaches: full extraction, partial extraction, and partial extraction. Here you can see in the partial extraction, different flavors are there: without update notification, without update, with update notification. So for example, some approaches like delta, they don't bother about the update date, just last 3 months they will update. That is without update notification. With update means whatever data is changed in the source, we will take that one. But in the partial extraction without update, we don't go over the exact deltas. We will predict the deltas, maybe last 3 months, so there is a change in the data, we will pick last 3 months data. Clear? Huh? Coming to transformation, we have used different transformation, like simple transformation. For example, in the source system, we have first name, last name, middle name. But in the data warehouse system, we have the full name. We need to combine these three and we need to put it into the full name column. That is like a transformation. So if you trim the data, for example, if you are getting the customer number as a some prefix and number, so if you want to remove the prefix, this type of transformation, or grouping the data, or truncate some columns, or omitting some columns, or some filtering the data, whatever, that is nothing but a transformation. Whatever input we are required in the data warehouse, based on that one we will add some transformations. Every ETL tool provides some transformations. Coming to loading: initial load, incremental load, full refresh. Initial load, whenever we are ready with the system, we will start the initial load, we will load. Next day onwards, we will do incremental load. So for example, based on the business, it is a weekly or monthly, or it is a daily. In the daily also, some systems required maybe hourly also. That is based on the business, we will do incremental load. Clear? Huh? ETL. Then just ETL process, how it will be ETL. In the ETL, we are using the staging area. I think you need to know what do you mean by staging area. Generally, what we can do is, before do the transformation, we are putting our data into the staging tables or staging area or landing area, something some people call landing area. What we can do is, on top of source system data, what we can do is, we will store into the our database tables, then we will do the transformation. So for example, if you take employee, before on fly, what I can do is, I will load the data into the my staging table, and on top of my staging table, I will apply the transformations. In the staging area, maybe table will be available in same server, or maybe we can establish a separate server for the staging area. That is based on the business approach. Don't assume this will be available in separate server, or this will only be in the same server. That is not the case. Maybe some scenarios we will maintain the staging tables within the same server, or we can maintain the separate server for the staging tables. Clear? I hope you are clear. Now just I'm giving some popular ETL tools. You have to know. So for example, if you are working on the any tools, we need to see our competitors also. So for example, here you can see Informatica Power Center, Azure Data Factory, IBM InfoSphere Data Stage, Talent, Panther, AWS Glue. I think this is also most of the people are reading. Blendo, Google Cloud Data Flow, Fivetrans, Stitch. These are the right now popular ETL tools. Now, ETL is a traditional approach. Now, new concept come into the along with the cloud ETL tools. That is nothing but the ELT. ELT. There is a difference. ETL is a traditional approach. ELT is a modern approach. So, for example, I will give the example. When you are going with the ELT is, suppose for example, some company configure the sensors. The sensor continuously reading the data into the whatever storage. So for example, in our case, we are choosing as a blob storage. So for example, some people will choose the S3 bucket. What sensor will do? Will it stop? No. Continuously it will writing the data or writing the files into the blob, whatever storage we have used. We can't able to do online transformations using the data. What we can do is, in the ELT approach, We will extract the data, first loaded the data into the in storage, then we do the transformation. Most of the cloud tools using the ELT approach. In the ETL is a bold approach. In the SSIS data stage, we have the ETL approach. We are doing the transformation along with the extract. But here we are first loading the data, then we will do the extraction. Example is sensor data or logs. For example, any logs. What we can do, we will first load it into the staging table, then we will do the transformation. Here you can see differences. ELT is a different methodology of looking at the tool approach to data movement. Instead of transform the data before it's written, ETL lets the target system to do the transformation. The data first copied to the target and then transformed in place. ELT usually used in the NoSQL databases like Hadoop cluster, data appliance, or cloud. I will give the example. Databricks. Will we can't able to write the Databricks script on the original sources. What we can do before that one, we need to put it into some place. Why? Because in the blob storage, data is continually getting. The system doesn't understand which file it needs to take. What we can do is in the ETL, up to that snapshot, we will take the file and we will put it into the another storage, and our data brick will be the working on the new wherever we have placed. It won't take the data from the source. Why? Because the file will be continuously changing. Maybe new files will be generated. That is the reason we are not using the ETL approach. We are using the ELT approach. Just if you want, just read it. Just you will know the differences. Most of the interviews they are asking, what is the difference between ELT and ETL? ELT is mm, a traditional methodology. ELT is a modern methodology. Just you have to know the difference. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load, and ELT stands for, just don't get confused. I also confused. ELT stands for extract, load, and transfer. ETL loads data first into the staging server and then into the target system warehouse. ELT loads data directly into the target system. Once the data is there, then we will do transformation. In the ELT case, ETL model is used for on-premises. Suppose data size is small, we can go with the ETL approach. Relational and structured data. Mostly if data is in structured and relational, we prefer ETL. If the data is in unstructured and it is a huge amounts of data, we will go with the ETL approach. But same tools will give the answer for both ETL and ELT. But only difference is our methodology, how we are implementing. They will ask the question like, will ADF handle ETL approach also? Yes, it will handle. But based on our implementation, there is no difference in the ETL and ELT while implementing the pipelines or implementing the tasks. Based on our approach, how we are taking the data, that will be differ. That will be tell the whether it is the ETL approach, ELT approach. We don't have any concrete information or concrete tools available for ETL or ELT. Based on our approach, the methodology will be changed. Tool will be same. How we are using, that is it. That will tell the whether it is the ETL or ELT. Clear? Huh? ELT, ETL.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. I assume, yeah. ETL is mainly used for small amounts of data warehouse. ELT is used for the large amounts of database. ETL doesn't provide data lake supports, while ELT provides a data lake support. Mainly, I told you, data lake or this S3 bucket, we are not saving any transactional data. If it is a transactional, we will go with the databases. Whether you can go with the um, Azure SQL DB or Mongo's DB, whatever it may be. But if it is a non-structured, like non, we don't tell non-structured. It is also some semi-structured, like logs information, sensor information. We use it the ELT approach. Okay. ETL is easy to implement, whereas ELT requires nice skills implement to maintain. We need to predict. We need to choose how we are going with these two approaches. Now we will go through the ETL when I am going to this tool. I think you are clear. Basic whatever we required to work on the BI world. These are the basic concepts we have to know before you work on any technologies. And one more suggestion is you need to read OLTP, OLAP. You need to do Google and what OLTP, what is OLAP. You need to deep dive, and in the ER diagrams also, and the normal form, if you guys don't know normal form, just look into the normal forms. First normal form, second normal form, third normal form. But we are not going to use normal forms. Just we have to know source system. So for example, if you want to build any .NET application, they want to save some information, they will go with the transformations. Not transformation, this normal form while preparing database. So for example, if you are preparing any data warehouse, we are going with the dimensional modeling. So that is the reason you can stress on star schema and snowflake schema. I will explain you what do you mean by star schema, what do you mean by snowflake schema, what do you mean by dimension, what do you mean by factor. While I am going through the data warehouse concepts, I will explain these two concepts. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine, good. And tomorrow onwards, we will work on the Azure. Just today, I will give some overview on the Azure. Just 10 minutes, okay? Azure. If you want to work on Azure, you need only subscription. All cloud, you don't require anything. Just if you have installed any browser in your machine, you can able to work on any Azure services like any browser. Mostly I will prefer Chrome, or you can use Edge, or you can use IE, Safari, whatever it may be. But browser is required, and if you want to consume any Azure services, we need some subscription. Here subscription, maybe I have one subscription, I can able to give access to you also. I will create a user and I will give access to you and you can use my subscription just billing purpose, and we need some measurement unit. There is nothing but a subscription. Under subscription we can able to add Active Directory, whatever services Microsoft Azure provided. I also don't know how many services are there. Lot of services there, but we don't go with all services. But in Azure, just we will see whatever related to us. But you have to know what is required. If you want to work on any Azure, we need the subscription. That subscription, generally in the organization, they will create the subscription. Whenever you are joining the project, they will add your user to that subscription. You can able to consume whatever resources that subscription have access. By default, your user also will able to access that services. Maybe internally they will put another restrictions. Maybe some users have read access, some users only access these services, some may internally they will create groups, all this stuff. We will see that one. Clear, huh? What we require to work on the Azure? We need subscription. I will show you just Azure portal, then I will wind up the session. Incognito window. Just if you want to go with Azure, just you need just type the URL like portal.azure.com. Just you need to go to browser, just you can type portal.azure.com. It will ask username and password. Here you can see it will ask username and password. I'm providing. Okay, it will go to my email. Okay, fine. Then here don't require only Office account. You need to use Gmail also, but we need to sign up. Just go to this one. Okay, and here that instead of that one, I will show you here itself. Is
So
anyone is having any credit? Yes.
it will expire within a month.
If we have the
Yeah,
credit card, we can go with a free subscription that will be
yeah.
expire in the 30 days, or otherwise credits. It will give the credits 13,000, or 15,400 something. It will give. Either is expired, it will expire. Either credits are completed or 1 month.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mostly, do you have any credit card, Krishna?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you created any
Actually,
subscription?
I have created 1 month is gone. I got the message. After that, what I
Oh,
need to do? Again, I need to create one more
no.
free
One
subscription.
more you need to, but it will accept that credit card, whatever you have used earlier. You need to use the new credit card.
Oh,
I think
okay.
they will maintain some 6 months or 7 months. And another limitation is, for example, don't create from this. For example, you created from your home. Again, it won't create on top of your home. Why? Because they will capture back and this IP address, credit card, and phone number. You need to
Oh,
use different. But they will
okay.
maintain, I think, some specific time only 6 months or 1 year. They will maintain. After that one, they will delete the data.
Sir, can
Okay,
we use
okay.
a different Gmail address after 1 month? So is it
Mm,
possible with the same
No,
credit card?
no, no. Gmail address, no. Generally, I suggest Outlook. You can create Outlook and you can create using Outlook. But they are, as per my knowledge, they are tracking based on the phone number.
And credit
It
card.
is also not always correct. Phone number and credit card and also IP. So, for example, if
Oh,
you are using internet, it will vary every time, no problem. But IPS this is. So, for example, earlier I created with one from my home. Again, I use the next credit card. It is also not accepting for me. Why? Because they are tracking IP also. That is the problem. If IP changes continuously, no problem. If it is not changing, better my suggestion is you need to create at some other place using your phone network or whatever it may be. Mostly they will choose either two, mostly credit card, IP, and phone number. If this combination is different, then fine. And
okay, Surya.
can anyone can able to create one subscription for our class. Actually, I can't able to create. Why? Because I used my all credit cards. So I am requesting if any can provide, we can use, no problem. I think we don't consume that 13,400 in 1 month. So if anyone created, what I can do is I will show you how to create groups, how to provide access to different users, and how to maintain the Active Directory, how to maintain tenant. All this stuff I will show you. Is anyone can able to create free subscription by tomorrow or Monday?
Debit card is not acceptable for this one, sir. Only credit.
Debit card, only credit card.
I need to find some credit card, sir. We will try with our family members. We will try
Oh yeah,
tomorrow.
you
We'll
can
let you
try
know,
with your
sir.
family. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Just
because
try to
I
create.
don't have.
Just that is okay. Oh, I will show you how to create. Just Google here free Azure subscription. Just you can without credit card also we can able to create, but no services are useful for us. That
Yeah,
are very
that's fine.
basic, very basic services.
Yes.
Just here, just to go to one by one. Start free. Click on start free. It will ask some information. Just you can see. Just uh, but my request is don't create from our institute also. Why? Because that IP already I created using that IP. it won't take. So if you have credit card, just you can use your home network, you can create. Clear? Huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just here you can click on create one. Just you can create first a Microsoft Outlook account, then you can go one by one. Or otherwise, you are connected from the home, or you are connected from the home, and just give me a call. Just we will put up the session. I will guide you how to create.
Okay. Or
Clear? Huh?
else in our office we do with our mobile data, na? Connecting
Office
hotspot.
also you can, yeah, yes, you can use your hotspot. Yes.
Yeah,
No, no.
that is better.
Mm. Just let me know before you are creating. I will guide you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay. Anyone other than Abarkan, anyone can able to? We need at least 2 accounts. I think for complete this batch. I think 2 accounts are sufficient. I think so. One I can try, no problem. One anybody can try. That's good.
I'll try some my best. Tomorrow I'll let you
Okay.
know whether it's possible or not. By the Monday we will clear whatever.
Okay, fine, good. Okay, but don't create too many accounts. Why? Because we
No,
will
no, no,
create
no.
one account. We will reuse that account for all the people. So for example, if it is expire or if it credits are consumed, then will create another one. Okay.
I'll reach you while I'm creating an account. I'll reach you, sir. Definitely.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's it for today. Uh, Tomorrow shall we continue, or Monday we will continue? If you are fine tomorrow, I'm fine. I think we will start. I think why unnecessarily. And one more is this will take up to 30 to 40 days.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can assume today 15. It will be completed by May 21st, or it will be completed by May 20th. The course will be. And in this course, I will give the project also, and I will explain you. I think I will somewhere I have that project. I will give you like this way. In the task list, I will provide the task list. You can take this task and you will try. Then I will give just overall. Then I will ask you guys to work on this process. Suppose you can see task list. In my data warehouse, I am creating customer dimension. What is the source? What is the source query? What is the source columns mapping? I will give this information. It will be real time project kind of thing only. So you guys will work on this project. Once we completed our data warehouse and ADF, we can use ADF and we will take the data from the SQL server and we will put this data into our data warehouse. This is the project we are going to work. And after that one, we will use the Power BI and we will consume whatever data we push in the data warehouse. We will prepare the Power BI. That is the project I will give to you. Just you can, I think you guys will work on this project. Okay.
Sure.
Maybe I will add some enhancements also based on the technology. Or I think now Databricks is coming to picture. Na? I think I will look for the Databricks also. How we can. Mm, I'm telling you, mostly our training will be like a real time. So for example, at least we need to practice whatever we are using the real time. Don't like this is the task, copy, source, sync, not like that way. We need to practice. We need to work on the real time scenario, near real time, I can say. Okay, na?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, fine. That's it for today. Tomorrow we will start Azure, and I will start with the first storages. I think it will take 2 or 3 days. And then I will start with the data factory. Data factory will take 15 days. After that, I will use data lake and data bricks. Then data warehouse and project. And after that one, Power BI. Okay, fine. Okay, good.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Tomorrow,
can you share the meeting ID so that we can download this video?
meeting ID, I will upload to our Google Drive, Narendra.
Okay, sir.
Tomorrow I will do. Okay, na? I think
Okay,
today only basics, na? Tomorrow onwards I will do. If we,
okay,
I think I will, I will record it now. I will put this session also, no problem. And going
okay,
forward, I will append whatever task, whatever I am telling, I will append it to this document. I will upload this document every day. Okay,
fine,
Yeah.
sir.
whatever points we have mentioned.
Okay, sir.
Clear? Huh?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, fine, good. And
Okay, sir.
Abar, just try for one credit card, Abar.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow I'll let you know whether
Okay,
definitely I can get somewhere.
okay, okay.
Not an
Okay.
issue. Tomorrow I'll let you know.
If you provide one subscription and once your subscription is done, then I will try for another and we will complete this
Sure, sir.
training. Okay.
Definitely I'll try.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. See you. But try to attend at 9 or 9:05. I think we will
Actually,
start
sorry, I
sharp
got
9.
late on traffic today, so
Okay.
I
No
was
problem.
busy.
No
And
problem. It's okay. Just I'm saying, just try. Try to
yes, yes,
go.
yes.
Shruti. Hello. Shruti is not. Okay. I will check with her. Okay. Fine. Good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you on tomorrow. Same meeting. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.